showing is the Clash Manager as well as how we support the editing of linked files. If I go to my Tools category, we have the Clash Manager. I already have a project, but I'm going to go ahead and click the new one to start a new project. And I'm going to go down and check off wall and floor for each one of my Science Center projects. So this will be running a clash test against our structural and architectural file for the Science Center. So once I get all of my wall and floor categories selected, I can go down and set my tolerance. So let's put this at 0.25 meters and go ahead and run the test. And it comes back with 311 clashes. So go ahead and press OK. And so here's a list of all of our clashes. Now selecting on one of these will actually show one object in red and show the other one in green. And then you can go ahead and start editing from there. So if I jump into this first one and move over to the side, let me get this in view so we can actually see everything. Go ahead and full screen this for now. But we have our floor and we have our wall. So if we go down to where it says Object 2 Edit, this will actually open up this. So element is within a linked file. In order to modify this element, you need to close the current file and open the linked file. And that's the linked file. Go ahead and press Continue. And what this is going to do is actually close out the current Revit project that we had open, so our site file, and open up the linked file that has these objects inside of it. Once this file opens up, we'll be able to go ahead and start editing. So we already have these linked files loaded into Fuzor, so we don't need to do anything about that. And so yeah, once this goes through and does its check, I'll talk about that in a second. We'll be able to kind of go through and edit everything. We can go ahead and ignore this. But we have this resynchronization with Revit that pops up over the front of our Fuzor screen. And what this means is at the bottom left-hand corner, you can see we have a percentage and reconnecting. It's actually going through and checking all of the objects from the Revit project it just opened to the objects it has inside of Fuzor and making sure they match. It wants to make sure that, hey, the file that we just opened is the file that we have synced in, so that we can go ahead and make sure this is accurate. Everything you change is reflected correctly. So once that's done, the message goes away and you can see we already have our project open and the floor was selected for us. So I'm going to go ahead and zoom in on this floor and kind of just move it off the wall so that we can watch how this gets resolved. So select the edge right here and use the move tool. I'm just going to move it off the wall a little bit. Let me zoom in here and get a better view. See if we can get this pretty close to the wall but not inside of it. So right about there, and okay. A little bit further than I wanted, but it's alright. It'll get the point across. So if you see over in the Fuzor side of things, the floor is no longer green. It's actually turned to the material of the actual floor. And inside our manager, it says resolved. So it checks once you make the changes to see was it resolved, and if so, it updates it inside the manager to reflect that. So this is just a really easy way of finding your clashes inside your different projects and going through and opening up the different linked files to make the corrections. The next thing I'll be